Welcome back to Library Choice YouTube channel. In today's class, we're going to learn how to make this beautiful off-shoulder baby jumpsuit. I added this design to mine, and a tutorial on how I made the design will also be uploaded on the channel. So you can do that with or without the design. This is what the jumpsuit looks like. I'm also going to show you what it looks like without it. So that's the back of it, and this is the jumpsuit plain without the design. It's a simple tutorial and beginner friendly. If it's something you like to learn, kindly stay tuned. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to be drafting the upper bodies first before drafting the trouser, which is the lower part. So I have my shoulder measurements 10 divided by 2, and that gave me 5 inches. So here is my neck width. Here I came down by half an inch for my shoulder slope, and then I connected that. So this is my armhole line, and this is my half length. So on the armhole line, I'm going to work with my round chest measurement. For me, that's 24 divided by 2. It's going to give me 6 inches. So this 6 inches, then I'm going to add my necessary seam allowance to that, and then I'm going to connect for my armhole curve. Okay, so I have my armhole right there, and here I'll mark my round waist measurement. It's 24 as well, so divided by 4 is 6, and then I'm going to add my seam allowance to that as well, and then I'll connect them together. So this is an off shoulder pattern, so I'm going to mark my neck depth. So for me, that's 2.5 inches, and there I'm going to mark a straight line. You can change the neckline if you want. You can make it a sweetheart neckline by just going down a bit here and then connecting. You can make it a U neckline, and then you can also leave it as it is like this. So now I'm going to grab my scissors, and then I'll cut out this upper part. Okay, that's my half length. I'm going to cut it out. So when I'm cutting on my fabric, I'm going to add my necessary allowances to the upper and lower part. There is allowance on the side seam, but when I'm cutting it, I'm going to add allowance up here and down here as well, in order for me to sew it. So for the pants, I'm going to come with a bigger pattern. Okay. And then since the waist, I'm joining the waist together. So the waist measurement that I use for the front is what I'm going to use for the back as well. So to make it easy, I'm just placing this. You can also measure what you did there, and then I'm marking it there. That's where my waist measurement is. Altogether, this measurement is about 7.5 inches. So for my crotch is 8.5. So here I'm marking it and half, and then I'm marking what I have here as well, so that I'll have a straight line. Okay, so this is my crotch. If you have a chart that has a pronounced hip, you can insert the hip measurement at the hip line area here, but for me it's relatively the same, so that's why I'm just connecting it straight like this. So here for the crotch curve, I'm going to extend this line, and I'll mark 1.5 or 2 inches for that, so that you can mark out your crotch curve. So you can use your freehand for that, or you use your curved ruler to do that. Okay, if you have a better curve, I advise that. I'm just going to make do with the curve that I have here. So now the next thing is to go ahead and mark my trouser length. The full length of this person is 36 inches. If I deduct 10 inches for my half length, I'll be left with 26 6 inches. Okay, I'm going to add some allowance to that, and then I'll match it. So this is the total full length that I'm working with. If you are working with just a straight pant, all you just need to do is to mark the round bottom that you want this pant to be. Okay, so I think around 10 inches is fine for me, or 9 inches. That's if you just want it to just come straight down like that. But if you want it a little fitted, okay, then you can go ahead now and mark the measurement on the child. That's the okay. So like I was saying, if you want it to, you can measure the waist to knee of the child. That's if you want it to be fitted. And then for this child, that's 15.5 from waist to knee, which is here. Like I said, if it's just a straight pant, it's not so necessary. So on that point, you're going to measure the round knee of the child, and then you insert that, and then you connect everything together. So also here, after getting your crotch, another way you can, instead of just marking 1.5 or 2 inches, you can mark the round thigh of the child. That's the biggest thigh measurement that the child has. And then the round thigh measurement, I'm going to input it here. For me, the round thigh measurement that I'm working with for this child is 18 inches. We'll divide that measurement by 2, not 4, because the legs are separate. So if I divide that by 2, it's going to give me 9 inches. So you can see what I have here. I just have a half an inch allowance there. So that's another way you can get the measurements to create your crouch cuff. So for me, the round ankle measurement that I'm working with is 7.5. That's 15 divided by 2. Then I'm adding allowance to that, and then I'll use my pants cuffs to connect. You don't want it fitted because this is a child. You can just connect from here straight down to the bottom. So here now I'm going to connect from that point to where my bottom is, and I'll go ahead and cut this pattern out as well. These are the patterns that I'm working with. This is the half length, and this is the trouser pattern. So I'll go ahead and cut this on my fabric and lining. Okay, so I've gone ahead to cut it on my fabric. I'm using this velvet sequin fabric, and I'm lining it with this satin. So now this is the back, and this is the front. For the front, I just put it exactly where I unfold, and then I place the center front there and cut it out, and then I added the allowance that I talked about. But for the back, there's going to be a zipper at the back, so I included my zipper allowance for the back, and I also changed the neckline for the back. I made it a U neckline. You can use whatever neckline you want for yours. So this is the main fabric for the back. So that's for the half length. For the trouser part, so this is the front as well. I just placed it, and then I cut it on my pattern. So I cut a small lining because it's for a child, and this can be a little harsh. So I cut like an half lining for it, so that it's not going to hurt, especially the crotch area. So this is the front, and for the back, because the zipper is going to extend to the trouser, I added a little bit of allowance on the crotch area. Remember, this is the crotch. Let me show you the front so that you can see what I'm doing. So for the front, you can see I just cut the crotch straight like this, but for the back I added like 1 inch for my zipper. This way the zipper is going to stop. Then I continued with my crotch. I also cut out lining for the back as well. So this is the back lining, and then it also has the zipper allowance. So the next thing now is to go ahead and start to sew it. So I'm going to start by turning my neckline with my lining first. Okay, so I'll place them on each other and then sew and flip it. It's going to have a sleeve, a long sleeve. Okay, and then for the neckline, I forgot to mention this. My camera did not capture it. When I finished drafting my neckline, I don't want the shoulder to be too off. This place was around 4 0.25 inches. So I deducted half an inch. I moved half an inch from it, and then I reconnected it to my shoulder. So you can measure where you want it to be on the child of the chest. So you measure from one armhole area to the other, and then you divide that by 2, and then use it to shape out this part. I did that because I don't want it to be so wide on the neckline. So that was what I did. So now I'm going to turn the neckline for both the front and back, and then I'm going to join the trouser on the crotch area before sewing it to the outlet. So I'll be doing this step by step. Okay, so I've gone ahead to turn with lining. So this is the outlet turned with lining, and then from my trouser I sewed the lining separately and the main fabric separately. So this is the main fabric for the front, this is the lining for the front. So now I'm going to join the upper part to the lower part. So this is the lining for the front. So what I'm going to do now is to place the half length of the front on this, and then I'll go ahead and join them together. So for the lining, you can see that the lining is still separate. So I'll take the lining for the front as well, and then I'm going to join it to the lining of the half length for the front, so that I'll have them separately like this. Remember, the reason why I am lining this is because this is a bit harsh and I don't want it to touch the skin of the child. So that's why I'm turning it completely like this, so that the lining is just going to protect her. I hope you understand that. So that's why I'm doing it separately. So I'll do this for both front and back, and then I'll bring it back to show us. Okay, so you can see I've sewn it. This is the front main bodice and this is the lining. So it's just like this, and you can see that the lining is going to completely cover it. The shiny part is not going to show at all. So this is the front and this is for the back. So this is the main fabric. The half length is already joined to the line, to the upper part, and this is the lining as well. So here is where we're going to be fixing our zipper. So now, before I join them together, I'm going to have to cut my off shoulder sleeve. So I'm going to fix the sleeve first so that I can conceal the sleeve as well. If you don't want to use this method, you can also just fix it and use your bias to turn. But this is my sleeve. I've already hemmed it on the upper part and the lower part. So I'm just going to sew like this so you can see, because the sleeve does not have a lining. So I'm going to sew the fabric to the fabric, and then I'll cover up with the lining, so that by the time I sew it up, the rough edges that will come from the sleeve will be concealed in the lining. So I'll do this for both front and back. Okay, so now I've gone ahead to join the sleeve, and you can see that the sleeves now are neatly concealed. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to sew the crotch area. So again, I'm going to sew it lining to lining and fabric to fabric. So for the lining, I'm going to match the crotch together like this, and then I'll go ahead and sew. So for the main fabric, I'm going to do the same thing as well. I'm going to match their crotch, and then I'm going to sew it separately. So after that, I'm going to join the side seam as well. So I'll do this and bring it back to show us. Okay, so I've gone ahead to join it on the crotch and this side. So for the side as well, you can see I joined the lining separately and the main fabric separately. So this is what it looks like on the inside. Here I'm going to fix my zipper here. So this is what it looks like on the inside. You can see how clean it is. If you want your lining to be longer than this, you can make it longer, but the main purpose of putting lining in this is just so that the shiny part is not going to be hurting on the crotch area. That was why I made this short lining. So when I was sewing it, I made sure that my lining was bigger. I don't know, assuming you use 1.5 inches seam allowance for your side seam. For this, I made the lining bigger by half an inch, or you can even do 1 inch, because this fabric is a very stretchy fabric. So if assuming the client becomes bigger, the fabric may still size the client because it's going to stretch, but the lining we are using does not stretch. That's why I added that allowance so that the person can just grow into it. I hope you understand that. So this is what it looks like. Let me turn it to the right side so that we can see. So for this, I'm going to be adding some detailing to it. I'm going to fix my zipper, and then I'll go ahead and add this detail. So I'm going to show us the finished work, and if you like a tutorial on how I added the detail as well, I'm going to film it and post it. But this is what the jumpsuit is looking like now. So just go ahead and iron it, and then we'll do whatever it is we want to do. So here on the hem as well, remember we still have to hem it. I left a little bit of my velvet so that the shiny part is not going to go inside. So that is what I'm going to use to hem it, the same way I did for the sleeve. So this is just so that you don't have this shiny part on the skin. So now this is what we have. Like I said, I will do my detailing, and then I'm going to bring it back to show us what this looks like. So this is what it looks like on the middle after sewing it, and you can see how beautiful it's turned out and how simple it is to make. If you like a tutorial on how I made the design that I added to it as well, it will be uploaded on the I hope you enjoy making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us in the comment section. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.